Multiplayer shooters are by far my favorite thing in virtual reality. I try to give them all a thorough chance to decide whether I like it or if I want to keep playing it. And after giving this game a legitimate chance, I can tell you that I'm probably never going to play this game again. Now, I'm not going to call the game outright bad. Like, I can see why this game has some people playing it. It is the first hero shooter in VR. It's definitely derivative of Overwatch. Like, from the gameplay to the characters, you can tell what the inspiration was. Really, the main problems with this game stem from the fact that this was originally designed as a mobile game. And I don't mean like a Quest mobile game. Like, this was originally going to be released on phones. This fact really isn't a deal breaker for me. Like, there's been other VR games that are just straight ports of mobile games that I've had tons of fun in. It all just depends on the quality of the port. And I gotta say, the port of Larcenauts is complete dog water. One of my first thoughts when I got in this game is, this doesn't even feel like a VR shooter. Like, for example, in most VR shooters, reloading is more than just pressing a button. Like, there's exceptions, sure, but in this game, you literally just press a button and then it rips your arms from your controllers and then does this crazy wacky reload animation that you can't even see because you're probably looking somewhere else. It really just blocks your vision. This is clearly a remnant of when this game was going to be released on phones, and I don't know why they decided to carry it over. This issue carries over to sprinting too. When you sprint, you flail your arms left and right like it's a 2D shooter. Like, why does this need to happen? I'm in a VR game. Like, did you not think that these animations were maybe out of place here? Fortunately, this sprinting setting can be turned off and it becomes more like Pavlov or Onward. But if you talk to players who are actually really good at the game, they'll recommend that you leave this jank sprint mode on because it lets you hold your hands up in front of your face while you sprint ready to aim, instead of the alternative where you're going to have to readjust your aim every time you're done sprinting. And I personally hate this. I think it makes it feel even less like a VR game. I spend a lot of my time just holding my hands in front of my face in the same exact place and then just aiming with the joystick and making micro movements with my hands. Of all the VR shooters I've played, this is definitely the least interactive when it comes to guns and when it comes to aiming. I'm at least grateful that they don't make you hold the guns with both hands. I mean, they kinda do. They make you grip the front of your gun with your left hand, but then it doesn't even matter. You can just hold it at your side after that. It's kinda weird, but it's better than the alternative of having to hold the gun with both hands and making it feel flimsy. Unfortunately, this is not where the mobile game gripes end. So, as you may or may not know, it is incredibly common for mobile game developers to flood their servers with a bunch of fake players. And I don't mean bots. It's perfectly okay to fill up a low populated server with bots, as long as you label them. This game literally puts fake players in their game with fake names trying to trick you into thinking they're real. Like, why? Like, I've never heard of a game outside of the mobile space doing this. It makes you question every time you run into a bad player. Was that a bot? I don't know if that was a bot. I actually started complaining about this in a lobby, and I got in a pretty long discussion with this random dude who was very defensive of pretty much every single design choice this game made. He said it doesn't matter if the game is hiding that the enemy team is bots, if the team had fun coordinating to beat them. So this dude, he speaks like a community manager. The next day, I'm playing the game one last time to finalize my opinion for this video, and I run into this kid who didn't like the sprinting animation either. And he tells me that he got in a heated discussion with this guy who was very, very confident that the game was designed correctly and would go on at length in this serious discussion about the game and its mechanics. He told me this unprompted without me saying anything, so I instantly knew who he was talking about. Like, there were too many similarities between what this kid was saying and what I experienced. My theory? I think this is either a dev or a community manager who is playing the game a lot and is just like very passionate about talking with the community and discussing the game. I'm also about 65% sure that this dude's in-game name was the same name that's replying to all the reviews on Steam. I kind of respect this. It's cool that they're interacting with the community, but he can be very stubborn when you talk with him. Of course, this is all assuming that I'm correct and me and this kid actually did talk to the same person. I could be wrong. You know, maybe I'm just going full schizo here. Even if they fix all the issues with the bots and the animations, I still think the game needs a little bit more work before it can really compete with some of the other VR shooters on the market. Like, there's so much potential here to interact with these interesting weapons that the different heroes have, but instead you just press a button to reload. Like, even if they fixed the animation, it wouldn't add that interactive VR experience. You'd still just be pressing a button. And yes, I'm aware that my main game, Hyperdash, has button press reloads, but the game design warrants it. You're using your hands to move around. Like, you don't have time to use your hands to reload. Larcenauts is completely different. There's tons of downtime and you could totally be doing things with your hands. I don't really mind your ability just being bound to a button, but it would be cool if you could do some things by like hitting a button on your chest or just something interactive that isn't just like a clear port of a phone game. I mean, the signs of the phone game origins are everywhere. Like, even these menus look like they were meant to be put on a phone. This feels less like a VR game and more like one of those mods that brings a classic game into VR. I'm actually really curious how far they were into the phone game's development before they decided to make it a VR game. My guess would be they were very far in, because absolutely nothing in this game feels like it was originally intended for VR. And it's a shame because some of these concepts are decent. Like, if this was made better, it could be really fun. I don't even think updates could save it at this point. There's too many crucial systems that need to be overhauled to make this game fit the standard for VR in 2021. The game seems to be doing well, and I think it'll stay populated because it's on Quest 2. So hopefully the developers can take the money and make something from the ground up for VR, and maybe spend a little bit more time playtesting it. If you think that my opinion is dog water, leave a comment and tell me that. If you like the video or dislike the video, press the button. If you made it to the end, I really appreciate it. Have a good night.